What's up, everybody? It's my little pretties, or whatever you guys like to be called. It's your mistress, the Queen of Lines here. And today, welcome to episode 77 of Shadows and Pretties. Now, the last episode I did talk about was the Magic School Bus, the original one where, the crazy scientist teacher, Miss Frizzle, takes everyone on, field trips. Today, I am going to be doing another movie, and today I'm doing an anime movie. Just thought I would let you all know. So today I watched this, the other day, today I am going to be doing a Shadows and Pretties episode on this movie, which was made by Studio Chizu. Now, Studio Chizu is another company in Japan that makes these makes movies. So today I am going to be doing another movie, which is called, Wolf Children. Now, Wolf Children came out in 2012. It is a animated movie, and it's not made by Studio Ghibli or anything like that. Although it does somewhat feel like a Studio Ghibli movie. I don't know what vibes I'm getting from it, but it kind of feels like a Studio Ghibli movie, even though it isn't. Like, I've seen some anime movies that kind of feel like a Studio Ghibli movie when in FYI they're not, which is quite something because I've seen, plenty of films that are like that. So, I guess I'm gonna go ahead and, kind of wrap up not wrap up the review or anything, but and for those who have not seen the movie, I think I should go ahead and, kind of say I'm going to be spoiling everything about, you could definitely say right here, right now, this movie, Wolf Children. If you've not seen it, you don't want me to spoil it, I highly recommend you do not watch this video and go watch one of my videos if you like. So, anyways, that being said, now today, Wolf Children, which is a pretty amazing film by Hosoda, aka Ma- Mamoru Hosoda. I think that's how you say it. I can't. I don't know how I pronounce it really good because I'm not. I don't speak Japanese, so yeah. But this is actually a pretty good film by Studio Chizu. It's not Studio Ghibli or anything like that, but it kind of feels like it for some reason. So today I am going to be showing you guys tell you guys what Wolf Children is basically about. And yeah. So the plot of this, it takes place in Tokyo where a college student named Hana falls in love with an energetic man who later reveals to Hana that he can transform into a wolf, and eventually they later have two wolf children, one named Yuki, which is the girl, and Ame, the son. Soon after, the kids were born, I think a year or so later, the father is killed in an accident while trying to hunt for food for the children. So Hana ends up becoming a single mom, and life with her as a single mom becomes a struggle. Yuki and Ami could constantly switch between their human and wolf forms, which is pretty interesting for the film as well. I really do like how, the film has a pretty good, animation, pretty good characters, pretty good concept for what this is. I love how this movie went out. Like, when I watched this the other day, I realized that of how good this one is. It kind of feels like if it's like just as good as, you could definitely say it feels like a Studio Ghibli movie, but it's not a Studio Ghibli movie. So you might get that kind of vibe every now and then if you decide to watch this movie. So, with that being the case, I'm going to say so Hana has to hide them from the world, so she receives noise complaints from visits of social workers concerned the children have not had them vaccinations. So, Hana ends up moving them to the countryside away from the prying neighbors as she works for as hard as a repair adaptation house. But the struggles sustain the family on their own crops with the help of a strict old man named Naraski, who she learns to farm successfully and becomes friends with some of the locals. However, one winter day, Ame almost drowns in a river after trying to hunt for a kingfisher, which of course Yuki saves him, and Ame becomes more confident of his wolf abilities. Yuki begs her mother to let her go to school like other children, and Hana accepts that condition, that Yuki keeps her wolf nature a secret. So Yuki soon makes friends at school. However, Ame is more interested in the forest and takes lessons from an elderly fox in the survival of the world. Now, about this movie, when I first saw this, it was actually very cute at certain parts in the movie. But I should warn you guys right now, if you do watch this movie, that there are some depressing scenes in the movie. Like, there's some parts of this movie that was pretty depressing, to be honest. Like, some parts of this movie was pretty depressing. I definitely have to say, like, there was parts of the movie that was, I guess, depressing, especially when it came to, well, the father dying and stuff like that. I was depressed at certain parts in the movie, but I have to say it's a pretty well made movie for what this is. For those of you who are fans of anime, I really highly recommend you check out this movie because I will kid you not, you will not be disappointed. So, while that goes on, in Ryuki's fourth class, Yuki's class receives a new transfer student whose name is Sosei, who reveals something strange about her when he pursues and harasses her. However, Yuki gets angry with him and transforms into a wolf and unfortunately injures him, leaving a scar on his right ear. And at the meeting with their parents and teachers, Sosei tells them a wolf attacked him, absorbing Yuki to blame. The two became friends. Of course, Ame and Yuki fight over whether they're human or wolf, but 2 years later, however, a fierce storm gathers around, and Yuki's school has been let out early. As Hana is about to leave to pick her up, Ame disappears into a forest to help his dying fox teacher, so she follows him, and the other children are picked up by their parents, leaving Yuki and Sosei alone. So Yuki tells Sosei that she can transform into a wolf, and that it was really her who attacked him. So he tells her that he already knew, but promises to keep her secret. Now, as Hana searches for Ame, she slips and falls unconscious, and then she's a vision of the children's father, who tells her that Yuki and Ame will find their own paths in life, and that she raised them well. So Ame finds Hana and carries her to safety. When she wakes up to see that Ame has fully transformed into a wolf to run into the mountains, she realizes that he has found his own path happily, but tearfully accepts his goodbyes. However, 1 year later, Yuki leaves home to a junior high school dormitory where Ame's wolf howls can be far heard in the forest, leaving Hana living alone. Now reflects on raising her own wolf children like if it was a fairy tale, and proud that she raised them well. So that's basically the story of, well, wolf children. In my honest opinion, I like the English cast of the video, well, of the movie. It actually was pretty well made for what it is. It was flat out amazing and did actually pretty good job. Like, the acting itself was really well made in detail. Now, I could definitely say that I wish maybe Disney would adapt this movie. Who knows? Disney might do a dub of this movie. I could honestly maybe see Disney maybe do this. Maybe they might do this someday. Maybe they'll do like a English dub of Wolf Children, just like how they did with Studio Ghibli. Which is hard to say, to be honest. I'm not saying that it will happen, but that would be pretty amazing if it did happen. So, I guess let's just talk about the production. Now, the production of Hosoda's motivations of working on his film that allows people around him that started raising children and saw them as shiny as becoming parents. However, as in an interview with Anime in 2013, Hosoda explained about why those sayings of wolf children, despite the fact that it's a story about raising a child, it is generally taken for granted that children are raised and then grow up. But for actual people to be involved, it's not natural at all. In order for the audience to share this feeling, I thought it would be a great idea if we could all share this experience that no one else had, raising a werewolf child. So, after having some interviews and stuff, the progress of it started to, well, make. Like, the early of the part of the story was in National University in the outskirts of Tokyo, which is modeled as Hitobashi Sabashi University in, well, Konichihi, Tokyo. In addition to the countryside where Hana moves in to model their house in Toyamada, the prefecture or something, I'm not really sure. But it actually was a pretty good concept for going for it. Like, of course, when they were releasing this, the conference was held in June 2012 with the director announced that Wolf Children will be released in 34 different countries and territories. This film's premiere was in France of June 25th, 2012, is making an international debut. Now, the DVD was subsequently released in Japan in July of 2012, and the film's Blu-ray and DVD release later for Japan was sometime in 2013, when the film had a limited release of the United States and even September of 2013. Wolf Children has screened at Anime Fest sometime in 2013, in May in the Czech Republic, and even Croatia at the Animus Fest in that time. So, the other source of the movie was actually very well made in detail. Like, I really do like that the fact that the characters were really well made in detail. They actually had a really good concept going for it. I really have to say that there is a novel full based on this that was, well, released sometime, I guess, in 2012 for the Japanese original release, but for the English release was made in 2019. The same thing could be said by the manga and the illustrations in that time. So, I guess you could say here that to be completely and utterly honest, it was mixed with reviews and critics, but it's still a really great concept movie for what it is. I definitely remember, when I watched this movie, I actually really liked the character development, and everything about this movie was just amazing. Now, I could definitely say parts of the movie was pretty depressing. Like, I was watching, the movie, I actually saw some parts of the movie that was actually, well, depressing, so to speak. Like, there were some parts of the movie that was very depressing when it came to, well, certain, well, concepts for these movies. Now, this movie actually provided pretty good detail, and it actually was really well made. Like, the characters have been done very well, and I love how the wolf's pups were like kind of a mix between a human and a wolf. It actually was pretty cute. Like, I think Yuki has to be one of the very cute characters in the movie. I know that she did I really do wish that she did appear. Maybe there's a sequel to it, but I'm not really sure if that actually were to be the case. But who really knows? Maybe there might be a sequel of this, or maybe a spin-off even. That would be quite interesting to say the least. I definitely have to say that the movie itself was actually really well made in detail, and it actually was, oh my goodness. It was just well made. I really do like how this story went out. It was heartwarming, really well done. It was really cute and beautifully well animated. Like, I like how the dad was, even though we don't get much of him, only for the beginning until he was dead, which was very unfortunate. But I definitely have to say, I really like how the movie went out. It was flat out amazing and well done in detail. Like, I really have to say the characters were pretty cute for what they were. They were very cute. They even had like really good heartwarming main ideas. I do like the character, well, Ame too. I think Ami takes more of the dad because, of the settings that he does, and Yuki takes more of, well, her mother because she wanted to go to school and stuff, which I definitely don't blame her for her wanting to go to school. But to keep her werewolfing a secret was going to be a tough one, but eventually they were able to pull through. Like, for example, when you could definitely say Yuki wanted to go to school, Hana was kind of, hesitant, thinking that people would call her a freak or something, but that ends up not becoming the case until, well, Sosei eventually, Sohei, I think that's his name, finds out about Yuki's, well, secret of her becoming a wolf. It actually was really, really interesting. I love how anime sits there and does these films because they are actually well made in detail. Even though I know Studio Ghibli, I can picture them doing something like this. Apparently, this movie, The Wolf Children, did really well done, and for what it is, it actually provided a pretty good detail. And especially how the movie went out, it was flat out amazing for how the movie was. I love how this went out. It was pretty well made. It was an interesting concept. I really do like how the movie was really well made in detail. Like, the characters, their voice acting did pretty good in Japanese, but it also did pretty good in the anime. But I could definitely say I could honestly really picture Studio Ghibli doing something like this. Like, I really wish sometimes that Studio Ghibli would sit there and done something like this sooner, because I could honestly see Studio Ghibli doing something like this. Like, anything Studio Ghibli would do, I know they make pretty good movies, but Wolf Children, I know it's not made by Studio Ghibli. It's actually a really amazing story with a mom who is in school, but then she meets a man who she loves, and they basically have two children until the dad dies. One thing I don't understand is, why does it evolve when movies evolve the dad dying? Like, I know they did that with, some movies like Lion King and etc. But I definitely have to say that the really concept about this story, the concept of it was just really interesting and well made in detail, because when I saw this movie for the first time, I was honestly really amazed of how well this movie was done. Like, it actually provided a pretty good, well, concept for the whole thing. Now, I think maybe Mamoru Hosoda or something, I think he was inspired by Studio Ghibli to do something like this. I think he was kind of took that inspiration. I'm not really sure, but that could be why. So I'm not really sure, to be honest. So I guess there's that, but I don't really know. I think maybe they might have been inspired by Studio Ghibli to do something like this, or maybe make his own animation. I don't know. But I honestly found, the whole story itself was actually really amazing for how this was. It actually provided pretty good detail for the character development and even the storyline. I love how the storyline went out. It was pretty original, really well made in detail. It actually helps a lot to get people engaged in, what's actually going to happen and what's going on in that. It actually pulls in a lot of audience's attention to when it came to the movie. So I definitely have to say it was, oh my goodness, it was just really well made in detail. Now, if for those who have not seen the movie, I definitely have to say that the movie itself was actually pretty well made, but I could definitely say that the movie itself was actually pretty good for what it is. Now, I definitely have to say that the movie was pretty interesting, I'm not gonna lie. It had a pretty good concept for what it is. Even though she was 19 at the beginning of the movie, I definitely have to say that the whole thing itself was actually pretty interesting. Now, of course, she was a university student as the Wolfman, but unfortunately, some parts, complications got up when Ame and Yuki were born. And, there was just a lot of, there was like a lot of good characters when it came to this movie. I actually liked the movie itself. Now, the anime itself was actually pretty interesting for what it is. I really do think that, this movie actually touched a lot of people's hearts. And I'm sure if you've seen this movie, you probably like this movie as much as I do. Now, for those who have not seen this movie, I highly recommend you go check this movie out, as this movie is just really well made and done. It's amazing. You would probably like this movie if you have not seen it. So, anyway, if you happen to, like this movie, I highly recommend you check it out if you've not seen it, because you will obviously really like this movie as much as, I do. Now, I'm gonna say right here that it's just my opinion on this movie. If you happen to disagree with me, like if you don't like the movie, that's understandable. That's fine, as we're all entitled to our own opinions. Now, I guess I could definitely say, I love this movie, and to be honest, I'm gonna wrap up this movie by saying, if you've not seen this movie, I highly recommend you check out this movie. It was really well made in detail. It is flat out amazing. It's awesome. You will not be disappointed if you see this movie. Like, once you see this movie, you are not going to be disappointed, as this movie is pretty good for what it is. I really do think most of you guys will enjoy this movie. So, I guess that's probably all I have to say. Now, with that being the case, and with that being said, yeah. What did you guys think about this movie? Did you all enjoy it? Did you not? Also, what we have done personally to help make this story a lot better. Not story, but this movie a lot better. Leave me know what your thoughts are down in the comment section down below. I'm the Queen of Lions. Thank you so much for watching today's episode, and if you happen to be brand new here on this channel, Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe because I make brand new videos every single day. Don't forget to ring the notification bell to when I upload so then you guys will not miss an upload. And as always, I'll be catching you all in the next video. So peace out. And as always, I'll see you all next time.